The Create Your Own Case Toolkit is a resource designed to help teachers, librarians, after-school staff, anyone really who works with families, recreate their stories about family engagement work as cases. And it's also a resource that can be used by families to spark conversations and new ideas. And we developed this tool in collaboration with our local partner, the Community Engagement Team here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And we developed this resource for three reasons. The first is we saw a real need in the field for a family engagement professional development resource that could get beyond the one-shot workshop. So we really wanted to design something that would lend itself to an ongoing professional development journey. So the next reason we created it was we really wanted to create a learning tool that's practitioner-driven. So when you read the cases in the toolkit that I'll describe for you shortly, you're reading cases that were written by actual family outreach workers here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Or when practitioners and families are writing and sharing their own cases, it really values and puts at the forefront their knowledge as a starting point. And finally, we wanted to develop a tool where learners could construct their own knowledge. And what's great about the tool is that learners have an opportunity to grapple with some real-world family engagement issues and come up with their own solutions. And we know that these types of activities lend themselves to better learning and the greater likelihood that they'll be adopted in new situations. So, maybe the best place to start is by answering the question of what is a case? So a case is basically a type of story that invites critical thinking and problem solving. But unlike stories, cases leave readers with a cliffhanger, right? So because there's no resolution, readers need to interpret the situation and come up with their own solutions. So the case abstract on your screen is part of the toolkit and was developed by Rebecca Akhtar, a family engagement outreach worker in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And the case that she writes is based on her real experience. And if you read it quickly, it says, a mother of an elementary school student who recently immigrated to the United States chooses not to attend her daughter's back-to-school night event. How can a family outreach worker encourage the mother to attend? So when you actually think about what you would do in a case like this, you're developing the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that are essential to working successfully with families and for families to work successfully with educators. And here at HFRP, we think about what those competencies are a lot, and I've listed some of them on the screen. And for over 20 years here at HFRP, we've been using the CASE method as an important way to help practitioners and families develop these competencies and work together. So basically, what the Create Your Own Case Toolkit is an offshoot of our case work. So what I want to do is I want to take you through a little walk through what the toolkit has to offer. So the toolkit is divided into three parts. The first part are 6 steps to follow with related exercises. The second component of the toolkit is a collection of family engagement cases. And the third component is a facilitator's guide. So let's take another deep look in and see what each of these components include. So here you can see the 6 steps that we recommend practitioners or families can use to write their own case. And the first step is reflecting on your experience. As a practitioner, your experience working with families, or as a family, your experience working with a variety of educators. And the second step is to identify a mismatch, identify a conflict, identify something where the perspective of somebody in your story did not exactly match onto the perspective of someone else. The third step is to choose people and information to include in your case. And then the fourth is to develop a case structure and outline. The fifth step is to draft and revise your case. And then the sixth is to share it with people. And this is just so each step comes with a little description of what the step entails and of some exercises that you can do to really hone in on what that step is actually trying to get you to do. So this is just an example of exercise 1-1 where you're thinking about a family, when you're thinking about potentially a family that you want to write about. So then The second part of the Create Your Own Case Toolkit is a collection of 8 cases. And just like Rebea's abstract you saw when I first introduced the toolkit, in this section of the toolkit, what you see are titles of cases and a little description of what the case is about. And what I really like about these cases, and remember, these were all written by family outreach workers who were doing work in the field, is that they all take on a similar structure. They all include a backstory, which is what a little piece of what you read, what we read together earlier in the presentation, and then the full story. And the full story is an opportunity for the case writer to bring the story together and explain what they did in the situation. So in Rebea's case, what you find out is that the mother, it's not that the mother was not interested in going to back-to-school night, but in her home country of Bangladesh, the school system was just a lot different than it is here in the U.S. And the family outreach worker worked with her over a long period of time to see the benefit of participating and engaging in those types of events. And eventually the mother goes on to be a big leader in her school. So these cases are great, as I said, great pieces of work that you can use to sort of spark conversation among people in your trainings or in your workshops or in your communities. And then the final piece of the Create Your Own Case Toolkit is the Facilitator's Guide. And the Facilitator's Guide offers specific ideas for how the toolkit can be used in courses and workshops and seminars or in individual supervisory sessions. So I guess the next question really is how the toolkit can be used. And, you know, what I like to think about the toolkit like mix and match swimwear or suits. You can be inspired to take different portions of the toolkit as they suit your size or the shape of your work. So I think 3 ways that I really think the toolkit has been helpful for people in the field so far is in seminars and workshops with both practitioners and families. And the Facilitator's Guide offers a lot of different options for, you know, different ways that you can use the cases, the exercises, and the different steps to create a really meaningful workshop or seminar. The second way that the toolkit can be used is in learning communities or parent cafes. And more we've seen the popularity of bringing groups of practitioners, families, or practitioners and families together in an ongoing basis for learning opportunities. So the toolkit is a great resource for this type of work. For example, each meeting might focus on one step of the toolkit, and the end result is members of the community have their own case to share. Or you can use the case collection as just, you know, a way to have a discussion about particular topics together. And then you might just decide, you know, to use a few of the exercises as a way to bring your learning community or your parent cafes together. And then, you know, another usage is in individual professional development, supervision, or consultation. A lot of the tools in here are really helpful in, you know, having families and practitioners reflect on their work, which is a great tool you can use in a coaching situation.